On this episode of NoBees, I've decided to call this series NoBees. We make some barrels and put our shit in it. Then we make a feeding upgrade for our backpack so we never have to worry about food again. Then we automate an iron farm using Super Factory Manager, the best logistics mod ever made. And we utilize the same system to also automate source gems. We mob swab a phantom and a wandering trader, go to the Nether, explore a bastion, and even make a storage solution for all of our chests so we can access everything and craft from one interface. And we even make a warp index to have wireless access to it. Hello, welcome back to another episode. So I actually didn't go mining. I have just been looting the village and I am completely full of garbage, even with the stack upgrade in the backpack. So I decided to set up a little base of operations here. And before we forget, let's go ahead and do set home. So wherever we are, we can always teleport back to here. And let's just kind of get going with setting up storage so we can empty all of our stuff out. The first thing I want to make is 6 sophisticated storage barrels, and that will be useful for us so we can dump all our stuff in there, and then we'll build kind of a storage platform off of that. So how about, I don't know, just over here. We are going to do 6 of these guys, and we'll need 12 oak slabs, I believe. That's how it goes. So we'll need a little bit more wood. Don't have it in there. We can grab some from here. This is our pain for now. When you put the redstone torch in the middle, you get the sophisticated barrels, and those are nice because we can upgrade them to iron. They will have more room, and then further to gold. And I don't have diamonds right now, but or enough gold. Let's grab some more. Good, so that gives us 6 to start off with, which should be good enough for now, and then we can upgrade them later. I'm just going to dump everything in there for now. Okay, so you can see that I have an infinite ham. We found that in the village. These are really nice because as you eat them, they will recharge. When you first get it, it'll have little magnifying glass like this, and all the relics and artifacts will look like that. And it has, it'll look like a stick. So you have to research it. So you hold shift on it, and you can see it's gibberish, and you have to research this thing. And you'll get a little bit of a puzzle. And for this one, you just connect the ones from the outside to the center one. And that will complete your research for the infinite ham. And you can see that every almost 18 seconds, it regenerates 6 chunks that you can eat, which each restore 1 hunger point. And then that will, as you use it up, it'll regen. But the thing with this one is you have to use it manually. You can't put it in a feeding backpack. But we found something even better, which are these everlasting beefs. And when you smelt them, let's go ahead and make a furnace, another one. And again, we can use the lignite coal. And these ones kind of work the same way. You can eat them, and they go on a cooldown. But what we can do is make an upgrade for our backpack, and we can turn it into the advanced one. Now, when we put this in our backpack, we can ask it to eat our eternal steak, and we want it to be on allow, so it'll only eat this, match item, only feed when the player is hungry enough. So this will wait until our hunger drops down. So it won't eat right away to waste the saturation or to waste the drumsticks. So it'll wait until we're down 4 drumsticks before eating. And then this one says feed the player immediately when hurt. So when we get hurt, it'll ignore this one. So it'll just feed us immediately. Okay, and we can just put these guys in here and this will automatically feed us. We can't do that with the ham. I don't think so, but we'll leave it in there and test it out. I think the ham doesn't work in the backpack, but maybe it does now. I don't know. So now we don't have to worry about food anymore. The backpack will just feed us. Okay, so we want to also claim this area and we will chunk load it. So when we're away mining or whatever, our machines will continue to work. All right, why don't we set up a iron farm using easy villagers. So we can take our tank that has lava in it and some buckets. Oh, and also we should smelt some glass. This is what we want. So it requires stone and glass and iron. All right, let's put them back here. Actually, I don't have inventory cables yet. We'll deal with that soon. All right, 10 of those guys. We'll need our villagers. And the way this works is basically like a vanilla iron farm condensed into one block. So the iron golems will spawn, they'll fall into the lava, they'll die, and then you get iron and poppy. This is very loud and I want to mute it. So I'm going to stand right in the middle and it will open up our inventory and you can go into your ESM settings and we'll go, why is this muted? So you can hear that the zombies are really loud, but we're going to set an anchored point so it only blocks those points in this area. So we set our anchor and we're going to edit it, call it Iron Farm. And it doesn't need to be a huge radius because it's only a few blocks. So we'll do 3 blocks. And you can take a look through the recent sounds and kind of go in there, but I already know what I want to block. So I'll type in entity.zombie. And we're gonna do the zombie ambient noise. I believe that's the only one. Then we want villager noises as well. Villager ambient. And then iron golems will spawn. So iron golem. Oh, and I want it to be on all. The iron golem hurt, death, damage, attack, step, all of these we will mute. So now this guy in this little radius, any noise from the 3 blocks around here that our zombie and the iron, the ones that we muted, will not bother us. And these guys will continue to generate iron when we're away. So we'll put these guys back in there and let's go do a little exploration. I found... should we grab... Well, yeah, let's just go. I want to go explore this tower over here. It's from Ars Nouveau. Hopefully we'll find something good. These Ars Nouveau structures are pretty cool. Any of these codex entries that you get, you want to learn them, and it'll teach you a random level 1 glyph, or tier 1. And this warp scroll will teleport you to somewhere like an Ars Nouveau POI structure. Alright, this place, we gotta climb up this thing. Sometimes these have a little area underneath that have nice loot. Doesn't look like this one does. That's lame. So much for exploring. We will take the archwood, I guess. That'll be useful for our, well, I think for our storage system. So we do have those sophisticated storage barrels that we put down, and that will be good because they store a lot of items, but I don't want to have to go through each one by one in order to pick up items from. I want to have a terminal that we can craft through. So I will do that with Ars Nouveau because the storage lectern, just because in the other all the mod series that we did, I went ahead and did the industrial, I'm sorry, not industrial, for going, what is it called? Integrated dynamics. So we did use the integrated dynamics terminal in that one. So just to do something different, we'll use the Ars Nouveau one. All right, back at home, let's drop off these things. All right, so what we want to do next is get into Super Factory Manager. As you can see, these guys are getting iron and poppies, and I want to store those. I want to store those or pipe them out, so because they're going to overfill this really quickly. And if you guys don't know me, I'm a huge fan of Super Factory Manager, and everything we do pretty much that requires logistics will be done through Super Factory Manager. So let's get into that. The first thing you're going to notice is that you'll need a lot of black dye for these inventory cables. So we want to get some black dye, and instead of killing squids, there's a way to get them through kelp. So if you take a look at this slicing, so if you have dried kelp and you put it on the slicing cutting board from MrCrayfish's furniture mod, you can turn it into black dye. So that's really easy. That's what we'll do. The only problem is it doesn't work with all the cutting boards. It only works with MrCrayfish's cutting board. And in order to make that, you need to do it inside of the constructing thing, which requires electricity. So we need to make a workbench and we need to make an electricity generator. And they're pretty easy to make. We just need a stone cutter and some redstone and iron. So let me go ahead and make those two and I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back and we have, well, we almost have what we need. So the way this works is you put down the generator and the workbench, and the generator gets some kind of combustible thing like coal. Say we put 3 pieces of coal in there. You can turn this on and then use the wrench from the same mod to right click and hook that up. So now this is working, and we can put 2 pieces of wood in there and scroll down to the cutting boards, and we can make an oak cutting board. That is all we need for now. So this guy we can put up there, and we also need the knife from this mod. It doesn't work with other mods, which requires another piece of leather. And what we can do is take the kelp, put that in our offhand, and this is how we get tons of black dye. All right, so let's get going with Super Factory Manager. I guess one more thing that we will need is a place to store these guys in, because I don't want to just put it inside of these barrels because it'll fill up really quickly. So why don't we make a special barrel from sophisticated storage? Here it is. So this only has 2 slots, only 2 items can go in there, but it takes 16 times the stacks. So it can store a ton of 2 items. But what's cool is we can also upgrade it to the gold tier. And so it goes from 16 to 32 for iron, and then the gold tier 48. So this will hold a ton of stuff for us. And we can put that guy right here. And then we can hook all this up. Let's go ahead and open up the bottoms of these. And make our super factory manager stuff. So we will need some lapis for blue dye. We will need some red dye from these guys. And we'll also need some yellow or green dye. But let me go find some yellow flowers. All right, we got all the dyes that we need. So let's keep going. We will also need sugar cane. For paper. And iron and gold. And we also have wood. Got some sticks. Okay, first let's make our label gun. This is used to label everything in the world. We only need one label gun for the whole playthrough, so that's nice. Then we need inventory cables, so let's make some of those guys, and we'll need chests. Let's make some more. Okay, so we have a bunch of inventory cables. Then we want to make, we need stone. Redstone. Okay, so we have our factory manager that's used for all the things, and we will also need, okay, and we can now make the program disk. So everything that Super Factory Manager accesses needs to be connected with an inventory cable. So we will make sure there's one below. Oops. We'll make sure there's one below everything. And let's put our dirt back. Then we put down the manager block wherever we want, also touching the inventory cables, and you can put the disk in there. And with this one block, we're going to control everything. So we're going to start off with, let's call this name Iron Farm. So now if you look, our disk is called Iron Farm at the top. So when we look at it, we know what it is. Then we want to do every 20 ticks do, we will input all the items from Iron Farm, and we will output to the barrel. Very, very simple program. So this is going to take everything from whatever we label as Iron Farm and put it in the barrel. Okay, and then we shift right click on the manager block to copy the labels, and then we hold Control to tag all of these guys with Iron Farm, and then we tag the barrel. And as soon as I do that, you can see that it pulled everything from these guys into the barrel. So now when we go away and we're mining or doing whatever, this won't overfill, it'll all go into the barrel. And because this is a gold level, you can see that each slot can hold 3,000 items. And if we put stack upgrades, it'll hold even more. And we can upgrade this to diamond and netherite. So 3,000 should be enough for now. And it'll get better later. So let me dump everything in here. And my next priority is going to be setting up a little system where I don't have to go through all of these chests. I want to have a terminal to be able to access everything. And like I said before, we're going to use Ars Nouveau to do that. So while we have Super Factory Manager set up, let's go ahead and do some more automation. We just had a Wandering Trader spawn. I swabbed him with the mob swab. So if we do need him in the future, we can use the Apotheosis spawner to spawn them. Okay, so over here, I'm going to set up our imbuement chambers and just use the same manager to do that. And let's see. The imbuement chambers will require archwood and gold. We have archwood and gold. And I only need 4 for now. So we set those guys down. And the way this works is we're going to put lapis in it, and it will give us the other thing, source gem. So let's set down, let's make another limited barrel, and we'll upgrade this one to gold as well. All right, we'll put this one here, and on the bottom we can put lapis and do another every 20 ticks too. So we are going to input lapis lazuli from we'll call it barrel Rs, or Rs barrel. And then we will output retain 1 to each imbuement. Put a forget and say input source gem from imbuement, and we'll output that to Rs barrel. And what this is going to do is it's going to make sure there's always 1 lapis lazuli inside of each of the imbuement chambers, and as soon as that turns into source gem, it'll put the source gem back into this barrel and then pick up more lapis lazuli. So let's go ahead and do that. Cut Rs barrel and imbuement, and we push that back in there, and you can see these guys have the lapis inside and they're crafting. So we can just leave this, and then in a little bit of time, after a little bit of time, we'll have a stack of source gem. So the next thing we need to set up our storage lectern, ooh, these guys just popped, so you can see here's the source gem. The next thing we need is a piece of diamond, which we don't have any more diamonds for the enchanting apparatus. So I think I'm going to take a little break, go mining. I'll do that off camera, and then I'll bring you guys back when we have a little bit more resources. Now we can go down there and stay in the mines for a long period of time because we have infinite food with our steaks and stuff. And we also have fortune, so that will give us a lot more diamonds every time we mine it with fortune 7. So let me go do some mining, and I'll be right back. Ooh, guys, we have phantoms. There's 1 phantom membrane. I also want to swap these guys, so let's grab a stick. Nice, now we can sleep. So let's make a bed and sleep the night away. We will no longer need phantoms. Okay. I was just getting set up to do our storage lectern thing. I will need more bone meal. We need to get a bookworm, which comes from the Tablet of Awakening, and that requires 1 of each color of the archwood saplings. And once you get any kind of archwood log, there is a quest, I think it's under the building one. Under building tips, if you go to this one, any kind of archwood log that you get, the quest award gives you the saplings for all 4 colors. So if you're looking for those saplings, don't go searching everywhere, taking a super long time. Just grab the quest from here. So that's what we have. And I'm just gonna duplicate them really quickly so we don't lose all of the saplings. Oops, I broke my thing. Okay, now we have multiple of those saplings, except for the red one, I guess. I'll grow this one more time. And now we can make that tablet without worrying. But before we do that, let's fix our situation with our tools really quickly. So we'll need another osmium paxel. That's that. And let's make another diamond pick. Actually, I think I had a diamond pick already. Yeah, I did. That was a waste. Oh well. Then we will need a piece of obsidian and one book. And our anvil. Where should we put this? How about over here? Turn off our magnet. Throw that down. And we can put our fortune 7 on our other pick. Okay, so those guys are set. We need some source gem. And a piece of the green log. Okay, so then we need the enchanting apparatus from Ars Nouveau, which requires source stone, which is just a source gem surrounded by any kind of stone, but we farmed some of that from the world, and we will need lots of gold. Right, so under the enchanting apparatus, we need the enchantment core, or the arcane core, sorry, and we'll need pedestals to go all the way around. And this requires more source stone, so let's grab some stone. And we need 9 pedestals. That's 7. 8, 9. And then we will also need a brazier. Okay, so let's set that up here for now, I guess. And then the brazier we'll put over there. The pedestals go around in a circle. The arcane core goes in the middle, and the enchanting apparatus goes on top. So we can use this now with 4 chests and a lectern that we got from the village. And we put the chests on the pedestals, and the lectern goes in the middle. And this will give us the storage lectern. Then we need Tablet of Awakening and a book and quill that we also got from the village. So the Tablet of Awakening goes in the ritual brazier, and then we augment it with a book and quill, and we right click, and that gives us the bookworm charm. Where is this guy? Okay, so we can put this over here, and as you can see, it's a crafting table with a terminal inside, but that will connect to all of our storages here, and we'll be able to do everything from in here. But in order to connect it, we need the bookworm, and we also need the Dominion wand, which requires 2 source gems, a stick, and gold. And in order to connect it, I want to make the controller, but that requires redstone comparators, that requires nether quartz. So we'll have to do a really quick trip to the nether. So let's do that really quick. All right, into the nether we go. Let's hope for a good spawn. Looking for nether quartz. We'll take the soul sand as well. Just one block. Ooh, we found a blaze spawner. I'm going to stay here and farm blazes for a little bit because we will need some blaze rods. Guys, we found a bastion. I'm going to try to sneak in here. I don't want to die because I have almost 50 levels. Ooh, we got ancient debris. Nice. I don't think this is... Let's take a look on the map. Oh, it might be. It might be the one that contains the templates. Maybe not. It's too broken. Yeah, this is not the right one. I see another chest we can go for. Ooh, another one over here. It's a chest. If you're wondering why I can jump so high, that's because of my bunny hoppers. These guys. Alright, let's go back home. I don't want to die there. Okay, now we should have the required nether quartz to make our controller. And what the controller does is it basically connects all of these. So I'll put it down over here and it'll connect these two chests and all of these together. So everything can be accessed from one block and you can pipe things in and out of it. So we will need some stone. Where are you, stone? And we'll need redstone. Okay. And that gives us the storage controller. Now we can put this guy over here. And if you look at the jade window at the top center of the screen, you can see all the items from our chests are showing up in here. And what we can do is take the Dominion wand and we shift right click and then right click over here, and I can see one connected inventory. And if we look in here, all of our items are in there. So let's dump the rest of these over there. And now we have a way to craft over here and also have access to all of our items inside of our chest from one place. So this is a very nice thing. And if we want to craft anything like, let's say, a furnace, then we can just click the fill recipe and it'll handle that. Something else we will make is this warp index, and this will allow us wireless access to it. Let me see if we have enough to do this. It's kind of expensive. Let's try to craft it. So we have the belt. We need another bookworm charm, which requires the ritual of awakening. And another book and quill. We'll need an eye of ender for one of those guys. Before we use up all of our ender pearls, let me make sure we need 5 to be able to make more. So let's keep these guys in here just in case. All right, so then let's make this guy 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the last 2 things we need are Starbuncle charms and the bookworm. The bookworm we can do right here. Uh-oh. I do not want to do that. If you break your Lecturn, you get your bookworms back. So we have to link. And good thing we grabbed that Starbuncle token. And we'll need some gold. I don't know what's going on with this. I can't escape more than once. Let's try this guy also. 1, 2, 3, 4. And one more time in the enchanting apparatus. Okay, and now we get this warp index, and we shift right click the warp index on the storage lectern, and that will bind it. So now we can go far away. Anyway, it doesn't have a limit on how far you can go in the overworld. But this will not work in other dimensions. In order to do that, we'll have to make the stabilizing one, which requires netherite and a nether star, which we will do not too long from now. So let's put this guy somewhere in our curio slots. Which slot does it go into? Belt. Okay, and then I have a hotkey set up, so now we can have access to our storage from anywhere in the world. All right, I think that's going to do it for this episode. So we're just kind of getting set up and and going. And then soon we will go towards getting all the modium and going into the mining dimension, setting up a builder, all that stuff. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.